It is a snowy April 10th. Hi, everyone. I'm here with Tanishia Johnson and Jessica Lewis from Roc the Future. And I think one of the things I'm excited about for this interview is I don't know if people really realize all the amazing partnerships Golisano Children's Hospital has, and that includes with Roc the Future. Maybe you've heard of the name, maybe you haven't. But Jessica, let's start with exactly what you guys do, which is a lot.
Yes, absolutely. So, Roc the Future is a cross-sector partnership bringing together partners who care about children to improve academic success. We know that what kids require is all hands on deck. And so we know that the school district can't do it alone to educate our youth. It's going to take everyone to play an important part to make sure that our kids are successful.
All right, playing an important part. We're all playing new roles now, whether we are a parent, whatever that role is, we're all trying to sort of figure that out and define it. Tanisha, let's talk about some things that people can do at home. And I want to stress practical things people can do at home, because so many of us have huge goals, right? And then we're like, oh, I don't know how to do that. Where do you want to start?
Wow. So the first thing I would say is be gentle with yourself. This is a day by day, moment to moment, abnormal, new normal that we're all trying to adjust to, right? So I think at first when I came home to work remotely, I had all these big goals. The children would be on a schedule. I would be on a schedule. Everything would work in the same order it would, as if we were home for the summer. We have a rigid schedule in the summer. So I think the first thing I would say is ditch the schedule and maybe come up with a few things that you and your children can agree to at home. Because children are also dealing with this pandemic crisis in a way that is different from what adults are experiencing, right? They don't understand what's really going on. They're limited with their social interactions with their friends. Their school life, if they were in a traditional school setting, that whole process is interrupted. So some of the things that parents can do is sit and have a conversation with your kids, engage in play, and do the small things that will allow you to feel like you're celebrating a level of success. So that may look like getting in some reading time together, talking together, as you're straightening up or cleaning up, engaging in and singing together, pulling back away from what's taking place online in terms of some of the messaging that we're seeing to protect your own mental health as well as your children's mental health, because a lot of it can get into your psyche because the news is not all that positive more recently. And I would say definitely the self-care. So get some fresh air with your kids as much as possible, even if it means just opening your door, going outside for a few moments to get some fresh air, taking the time together to just do the little things that maybe you couldn't get in before. So the way that looks for us is we're doing more board games. We're playing Uno. We played hide and go seek in the house. We've cooked together. We've done some of the smaller things that we would take for granted because we didn't have a lot of time, and we would squeeze those things in.
Right.
So the practical things, really depending on how the family structure is, could be anything from agreeing that for this amount of time a day, engage in some schoolwork, to let's look at some schoolwork together, to let's read together or watch a movie and talk about what things came up for us in watching that movie. So all of those things, I think, being for parents, as gentle as you can in this process. We tend to beat ourselves up a lot as parents. And so we feel as though, we didn't check every single email that came from the schools. A lot of parents are getting inundated with email. And we need to cut ourselves a break a little bit more, because this is not just as if we're on a spring break, winter break, or a summer break where you can predict how your summer or break is going to look. Things are so unpredictable right now. And so I think the number one piece of advice I would give to parents is give yourselves a break, be in the moment with your children, get some self-care in for yourself, whatever that looks like, and taking the time to really get the interaction in with your family and conversations on how everyone's adjusting, because there's still an adjustment taking place, even though we've been been where we are for the last several weeks. It's really, as I'm talking to parents, this week in particular has been tough. And parents are getting to a place where, okay, we've been at this for 2 weeks now, we're in week 3, and I'm having a challenge with coping with structure. My kids are off the rails. They're getting on each other's nerves. If you have more than one child, that sibling stuff that you see that starts to show up. And I think it's important that, we're paying attention to our own mental and emotional health, and being okay, attending to what's coming up for us and what's coming up for our children.
Oh, we don't always think of the importance of play. I mean, sort of with the museum we have in town, hopefully people have gotten that message. But Jessica, you're hearing that message of we need to remember how important play is.
Yes, play is so incredibly important. Just as Tanishia mentioned, sometimes you have to take a break. People are going a little bit stir crazy now that we've been in the house for a few weeks. So allow your children that time to be physically active. Take away the iPad, take away the tablet. You can minimize some of the screen time so that kids can get physical. And if you go to Roc the Future's website, we have a number of resources available to give parents ideas on different activities that their children can participate in to incorporate play.
And I know we just said put the iPad down for just a second, but when people want some resources, you mentioned some there, but you also have a Facebook page that has been pretty successful in these times too.
Yes, absolutely. And so Tanishia, she's our family and community empowerment specialist. And so she is our lead on our parent network, which we affectionately call PCAN, the Parent Engagement Collaborative Action Network. And so what she did along with other members of that team was to create a Facebook page so that parents can get immediate resources right at their fingertips, whenever they need it. And so we keep that page stocked full of information related to COVID-19. And to give people just different ideas during this time, because sometimes, you're not always thinking, okay, what can I do with my kid while I'm trying to work? So here's something that's right at your fingertips that you can get quickly.
I'm thinking about that right now. I'm so glad they've been quiet for this interview.
Oh, yes.
Thank you for being a reassuring voices for us and putting those resources together. We'll link to them at the bottom of this interview. Ladies, thank you so much and be well.
Thank you. You too. Stay encouraged.